Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 35th episode of our gaming news podcast, the PackCast. Our hosts today, as always, are Cooltrainer Camilo, the Johniibo, Dan from the Tea Lounge, and myself, Phil Phantastic. We've got plenty to talk about this week. Nintendo released their financials, and they are cleaning up. Wonderful 101, the Wonderful 101, a Wii U game, is getting kickstarted by Platinum Games. Warcraft 3 launched, the Reforged edition, the remaster, and Blizzard is in hot water again. And Pokemon Home is launching this month. We're excited about that. And guess what? Pokemon fans are being toxic again. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. All right, and as always, we'll wrap out the show with the new releases coming out this week and what we've been playing. With all that being said, let's jump into our first story. Okay, Nintendo financials. Last week, Nintendo released their sales numbers for video game systems and titles as of December 31st, 2019. So we're going to get into the console sales / their handheld sales. So the Nintendo Switch sold 52.48 million since its launch in 2017. The 3DS is at 75.71 million. The Wii U at a measly 13.56 million. The SNES, we put this on here because the Nintendo Switch just recently passed the total lifetime sales of the Super Nintendo. That was at 49.1 million. And as you said before, the Switch is at 52. The Wii, the best-selling Nintendo console, home console of all time, is at 101.63 million. And the Nintendo DS, the best-selling Nintendo product of all time, is 154.02 million. Wow, that's a lot of units. And we just want to throw in here for reference, the highest-selling console of all time is the PS2 with 155 million. Which only beat out the Nintendo DS by 1 million, which is kind of crazy. Okay, now let's jump into the titles, and then we'll just get into a discussion. So the number one selling game is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 22.96 million, which is a port. But we wanted to note that number is possibly inflated, as some Switches were sold with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so we don't know how many people actually were like, heck yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, let's buy that thing. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 17.68 million. Super Mario Odyssey, next in line with 16.59. Breath of the Wild, not quite at Odyssey numbers, at 16.34. Sword and Shield combined, we get 16.06 million. Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu combined, we got 11.76 million. We've got Splatoon 2 with 9.81 million, which is, I was surprised by that. Super Mario Party, 9.12 million. New Super Mario Bros. U, another port, at 5.85 million. And the last one on the list we have Luigi's Mansion 3 at 5.37 million. That is a lot of millions. Nintendo is making some money. So holy cow, I'm tired of talking. Right, so my first discussion question for you guys is, how much do you think Nintendo Switch will sell in its lifetime?
I think it will probably reach the Wii numbers.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to surpass the 3DS. Probably surpass it this year, depending on what they release. But 52 million in less than 3 years? That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. It's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
3DS
I don't think
been a long time.
80 million? I don't know if it'll hit 100 million. That's going to be pretty tough.
Well, if they release another
the
iteration,
Wii was such a phenomenon that everybody was buying it. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
Going into nursing homes and stuff.
Yeah, but when you think about it, the PS4 sold 100 million units, and that doesn't seem like it's not a phenomenon like the Wii was.
True.
It's interesting because the Wii, yes, it did have the market of all the non-gamers as well. Mm-hmm. But considering that the DS sold 154, the Switch and its portability, families are buying multiples for their kids like they did for the DS.
Yep.
So those numbers are going to make up for the lack of going into nursing homes. I think
not only-
it's
But
definitely
like
going to hit
the
100
DS
million.
is like way less expensive than a Switch.
That's
but you
true.
you
The
have two
Switch
Switches,
Lite,
Cam.
is the Switch Lite included
Yeah.
Yeah.
in these numbers?
Yeah.
Then there you go. Yeah, and I do have 2 Switches. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan has 2 Switches. Cam, I'm pretty sure you have 2 Switches. I'll get
Yeah.
I'll second
I'm a
Switch
pleb.
eventually.
I'm a pleb. I only have
Yeah.
one. I'll only
There's
get
no
it.
way that doesn't hit 100 million.
Yeah, Lifetime. Yeah, I'm for sure. I'm with you guys. I think it might beat the Wii Lifetime, especially if they refresh it into like a Pro model. I think that we might see over 100, because I'll definitely buy a second one if they refresh it.
They're gonna hit it just with that Animal Crossing edition.
Oh my gosh! Everywhere I go, people are talking about it.
People want that thing. I want that thing. I'm not gonna buy it, but I want that thing. It's gorgeous.
And if you want more than one island, you're going to have to buy multiple Switches.
That's true.
So there you go.
We managed to squeeze that story in.
that was smooth. That was very smooth.
Good job. So what do you guys think about let's just talk about the game sales in general. Did you guys think that these were the games like in order? Like, do you think that makes sense?
I was kind
Are
of
you
shocked that
surprised?
if you're comparing, let's say, like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are like
Mm-hmm.
same kind of numbers. Sword and Shield are right there, and Sword and Shield just came out.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's
it's
also
only
2
been-
SKUs, and
I really don't think a lot of those are double buys.
I mean, you double bought it. Phil double bought it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the majority still.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording, I think, and John, before you joined the voice chat. We were curious. I want to see like an actual hard number. Like, there needs to be a poll or something of like people being like, yes, I bought both Sword and Shield and I own Sword and Shield, or I just bought Sword or Shield. Like, I really want to know how that number breaks down. I think it is a very small minority of people who double buy.
And I
Especially
think
now
considering-
because they're more expensive too. They're 60 each.
I think considering that families are going to buy like their kids a sword for one of them, a shield for another of them, but they're not going to buy 2 copies of Breath of the Wild, for example,
Yeah, definitely.
necessarily. That's much easier to swap in between and share. Sword and Shield are different and can coexist and do like trading things that you need 2 copies for. You don't need 2 copies for Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the
Yeah,
Wild
but
is
it's
the
still-
best-selling Zelda game.
Even if you're saying this is artificially inflated, this game has been out for how many months? 3 months? Comparing it
that
to
is
like
true.
2 years of sales.
Yeah. I think Breath of the Wild is much lower than it deserves to be. It's such a good game.
But it's the best. Like Zelda is not. It doesn't always sell as well as like Mario or Pokemon. Like Breath of the Wild, since it was so good and it got such good reviews, I
Yeah.
think more people checked it out.
Definitely.
I did, for sure.
Because Breath of the Wild is the best-selling Zelda game ever. And does this include Wii U numbers? I mean, it's probably like 1 million or so, but I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's just the Switch SKU.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, I think they said the
I think
the Wii U SKU sold at least 1 million, so it might be.
Yeah, actually, no, that's just Switch because they have another page for Wii U. So.
Okay. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe thing, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like everybody gets like that's like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Smash are pretty much what you get when you buy a Switch.
Yeah, they have a lot of highest of all times on this list. Like Smash Ultimate is also the highest selling fighting game of all time.
Yep. Fighting game. It's gonna
Yeah.
hit, and that's gonna hit 20 million easily. A lot of these are gonna hit 20 million.
Sword
Like,
and Shield's gonna hit 20 million.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
there's no
could hit
game
like
next year, and
25.
the expansion's coming out.
I'm surprised Let's Go hit 12. Like that's high.
Why? The remakes usually sell that much.
I don't know. It's just high with all like the controversy surrounding it, and
The controversy is not the majority. The controversy on Twitter is real. I believe it's a vocal minority because when people say like, "Oh, like we're complaining, it's bad," like all those people aren't on Twitter. Like, majority of people are, like, get it, but like we're hearing all this vocal minority on social media that's not what the player base is.
That's true.
Do you guys think Splatoon 2 is going to hit 10 million, or has it slowed down since?
Yeah.
No, I think I'll hit it. I'm pretty sure it was around 9 at the start of last year. But
Okay.
I think I'll hit. That's
Switch-
only.
Switch lifetime? Yeah.
That's not
When
not
was-
much.
What was their last Splatfest? Was
Those are over. Those are done.
Yeah.
The-
I know they're done, but like the
was
beginning
last-
of
it
last
was last
year, you
Summer,
mentioned.
last summer, yeah.
It was last July.
Yeah, so beginning of last year, they were still doing Splatfests, and then they sold more, but now they're no longer doing those.
I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if people
they-
are buying
Sell
it for
many,
Splatfest though.
They have deals.
Perhaps.
They have deals on Splatoon 2 a lot.
Okay.
And once they announce Splatoon 3, which it's inevitable, they'll drum up more interest from people that never checked out the series. When more people buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what's this character?" When they play Smash Brothers Ultimate, they're like, "What's Inkling from?" It's gonna hit. It's gonna hit.
I
10
keep
million.
hearing Mario Kart 9 is coming soon.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
there were some rumors.
Ooh. That's a whole
You know,
can of worms that we shouldn't open.
The one that I want to point out is New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe sold more than Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh,
It was out for
interesting.
longer too, right?
Yeah, only only a few months though. Like not.
Maybe.
I mean, I think Mario Maker 2 sold like close to 5 million.
I think gamers want to play games and not make games.
I want to play an actual 2D Mario made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Change the art style. Just make it like a 2D sprite again.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
I think they're done with
I want
sprites.
levels designed by people who have studied level design.
True. All right, so let's just wrap up this category here. So Sony is currently in the lead for most sold consoles of all time. Do you think Nintendo will ever be the top dog again, like they were in like the 90s?
So you're
think
saying
it's
is
over?
Nintendo going to produce a console that's going to sell over 155 million?
Or do I just like in general do we think that Nintendo will overtake them like 10 years down the road? Do you think Nintendo is going to be like the number one console that like everyone buys and not PlayStation? Or do you think it's going to be, you know, for the foreseeable future, PS5, PS6, like it's going to be the number one
No,
console?
because Nintendo they just offer something different. I don't think
Yeah,
they're trying to be the best.
Yeah, it's kind of like an entirely different realm, and I don't know if it's entirely fair to compare them.
I think it's going the route of the Nintendo systems are like your secondary, like if you get a PS5, like you're gonna have a PS5 and a Switch, or an Xbox Series X and a Switch. It's like
Yeah.
a secondary. It's like the Wii was when that was big. Like
Their
it's a secondary
generations are
console.
also like offset now. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Um,
Guess they scuttled the Wii U.
Ooh. Another question I have is like, I know we didn't crunch the numbers for this, but I wonder what company, like, over all of their consoles has sold the most consoles.
I think it's Sony. I think
Sony.
so because the PS1 sold like 100 million. PS2
Yeah, it is.
sold 155 million.
It is Sony for a fact. That's like kind of why I phrased the question the way that I did.
Okay. Yeah, Sony is
Sony
like
is number
cleaning
one.
up. Like how many millions more consoles than the next?
Yeah.
I wonder.
It's the next is Nintendo, and it's a lot. It's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a lot
Yeah,
of
because
millions.
I'm pretty sure each of
Jeez
Sony's
Louise.
console has sold over like close to 100 million or more.
do you
And
know how much the PS3 sold?
it's like over, it's like 105 or so. It's more than the Wii. Because I looked at something where it said like the Wii is 101, but then 360 and the PS5 actually sold more than that, which surprised me because I thought the Wii was like this huge phenomenon.
Final thoughts, because you just said something that is a great segue into our next story. Final thoughts on Nintendo's financials, or what do you think the future of Nintendo will
They're
hold?
thriving.
They're thriving.
Yeah.
Again.
I heard not too long ago that there was like some statistic that they could like close up shop and not make anything for like 150 years or something.
They have
and still not
they
go
have a
bankrupt.
war chest or whatever.
They
have,
got
like,
lots of money in the
They
bank.
got a lot of banked money, which I wish they would spend it on like
a team to create games
yeah.
instead of like we have 80 people making this game. Let's make it 800 people. All right, very cool. That's awesome, and I know a lot of us grew up on Nintendo or are big Nintendo fans. So that's cool that like after that colossal failure of the Wii U, this financial report really shows that like, yo, Nintendo is back, baby. So that is cool. John, you said the number 101, which leads us into our next story.
Wow.
Which is the wonderful 101 has a Kickstarter. And I'm going to actually pull up the Kickstarter because it's currently still going right now.
Yeah, you got fully funded in like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
So their goal, I'm going to refresh the page really fast. Their goal was $50,010. I think that's just because
it's because
the yen.
The translation.
Conversion or whatever. Right now, as it stands, they have 859,400 and 500 and
so they got the PS. They're meeting their stretch goals.
Yeah, they met their stretch goals. Their stretch goals were to put it on PC and PS4. And this number is just going up. I have no doubt that by the time this launches, that it's going to hit 1 million.
Yeah, and then I think they have
two
the next stretch goals are DLC, right?
Yeah, like one of them is Time Attack for 1 million, and then at 1.5 million they're gonna do like a side-scrolling adventure, like a mini game or a side quest or something. DLC. Mm-hmm. Luca's First Mission, a brand new 2D side-scrolling adventure starring a young hero. So yeah, so the Steam version. Let's read these. So 50K Switch. 250K Steam, 500K PS4, and then the 1 million and the 1.5 million, which I just read. Those are the stretch goals. They definitely did it. They have some really cool rewards. They had for what was it? It was like 1,000, like 2,000 for like $2,000 essentially. It was a jacket, a leather.
Oh yeah, the jacket's really nice, and then they had a mask, and I saw the best perk probably ever of all time.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. It's the Twitter perk, right?
So yeah, Kamiya is known for blocking like anybody that talks to him on Twitter. And one of the perks, I don't know what tier it was, but you will get a specialized message from Kamiya, and then he will block you forever.
Which is so funny. So I guess quickly before we get into the whole discussion about Kickstarter, I wanted to know, does anyone have this game on Wii U or have you played it?
I've played it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on it?
I liked it. It was kind of similar to Pikmin because like you control all the little people.
Yeah. I don't think it's that good.
It's like it was okay. I didn't finish it.
It was a very early gen Wii U game. And I don't know how it's going to work without the touchpad, because the way the game is designed is you had to draw on the Wii U gamepad the attack, and then that would go into the game. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
That was like the number one game mechanic, was the drawing.
Yeah, that was the mechanic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
I think they're going to do the Joy-Con pointer, because some games have done that I've played.
Interesting.
I love the aesthetic of this game. Mm-hmm. It's like these little superheroes, and I think they're cute. I just did not like the game that much. I didn't play that much of it.
Fair enough. I was going to say it's sitting around like a mid-80s, I think, user score on Metacritic. Just FYI, so you guys have an idea of what people have said. I think it was like maybe 80-something for critic score. So that's I own it. I haven't played it yet. I literally actually just bought it for $15 or something. It's pretty cheap on Wii U.
I got it for free, which I think Cam said he did too.
Yeah, I got it for free too.
through Club Nintendo. So I've purchased, I think, every Wii U port on the Switch so far.
What?
So I'll probably pick it up.
You should
Was
get
it physical, Phil?
What?
What?
Was it physical?
The one that I got for free?
No, the one you said you bought for $15.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was.
I didn't realize it was. I thought it was only digital for some reason.
Yeah, no, I have the
No,
physical.
this will have a physical release. I don't know if it's going to.
Well, no, I meant physical for Wii U. I didn't realize it was
okay.
physical for Wii U.
Yeah,
I don't know
picked
if
it
the
up at a retro store.
I don't know if the physical release for the Kickstarter is only for the backers. That's what I'm a little confused on.
Ooh,
or if they're going to have it for everybody.
But yeah, you can get it for probably cheaper, I think. Unless they only charge it $40 for it, but it looks like it's going
No,
for
it's a
about
little bit more
$40.
expensive. The physical is like $10 more expensive.
Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah, I just literally bought it, so I haven't played it, so I don't know, but it looks cool. So how do you guys feel about a company as large as Platinum Games kickstarting a game? I thought that was weird.
So I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind it if the game wasn't made yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this game's set to come out in April of 2020, so that's 2 months away.
Mm-hmm.
The game is done. They're looking for money to, I don't know, publish it or produce it. I don't know. That's what annoyed me. Like that it's already done. Like, just publish it yourself.
Maybe. Or like maybe Platinum Games fronted them the money or something and they have to like repay them? Like what? I don't understand.
Also,
It seems
doesn't
weird.
Nintendo own this IP?
No.
No?
Platinum owns it. That's the only way they could put it on other systems. It's like, or they own a majority of it, because I think the way Astral Chain works, that Nintendo owns 50% and Platinum owns 50%.
So typically a company, like, to get money, they would just sell the game and then the money from the sales would be what they get, right?
Yep.
Is this basically like an advance?
Yeah, it's like pre-ordering. I mean, I could see them doing it to see if there's interest in the game. But since they've definitely taken the time to make it for the system and it's ready to go for the system. Like, they were already planning to do this anyway.
My question is, when do they shut a Kickstarter down when you're a multi-million-dollar company? Like, they met their goal. Like, obviously there's interest. Now are they just letting it run for like the hype that like in the news story? Like, I mean, at a certain point, like, you shut it down. I just watched. This is unrelated, but I'll make it really fast. I watched a video about this kid. Not kid. He was like a grown man, very grown, very grown. He had like a Lego collection, but somebody broke into his house and stole all his Legos. He had like a Lego YouTube channel, and basically somebody started a GoFundMe or Kickstarter or whatever, and they ran it until it hit like $18,000, and he said, "I don't want."
Shut down.
Then he's like, "Shut it down." He told the guy who started it for him to shut it down because he's like, "I only lost $18,000 worth of stuff." And it's like, why is this one guy shutting down GoFundMe and Kickstarters at $18,000 when we probably could have made more for like his like emotional distress or whatever? And Platinum Games is like, no, come on, let's go. They're basically just using it as like a pre-order system.
Do you remember Shenmue 3? They did this for Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
And they raised like what, $3 million or something.
That's insane.
And then they got additional funding from Sony. Like, I don't. It seems skeezy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. It's just Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, it seems like more and more bigger companies are going to crowdfunding. Like, even like Hollywood companies and like Hollywood movie stars are going to Kickstarter programs to self-fund their projects instead of using the millions of dollars they have.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Guys,
I remember like several years ago.
Yeah.
What? It's for people who can't and need like the money, right?
Yeah, like Zach Braff went on Kickstarter to fund a project, and people were like, "What are you doing on here?"
Yeah. Hi, millionaire.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
What are you doing?
it's like it seems at least like you might be getting a better deal than if you wait until it's released.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The digital is like $36. I'm assuming it's gonna be around $40 when it's released. The physical's $41. It's probably gonna be $50 when it's released. So you might be saving some money.
Could be 60.
Yeah, it could be 60, but there's
Yeah,
like some
all these ports, man, have been 60.
some of these tiers are insane. There's like a $250 one.
The best one was the jacket, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
$1,000. $1,000. Oh wait, no, there's a
Ultimately, it
2,500.
falls on the people who are funding these types of things. Like, if you don't think big major companies should be on there, just don't fund them when they go on there, and then they'll stop going on there. But people do fund them, so they're gonna keep doing it. So
I can't control the masses.
kind of a win-win. If a big major company wants to go on there and people find value in supporting that, then sure, go for it.
I mean, there's two sides of the coin on that, because I've backed Kickstarters. Like I backed Shovel Knight. That was like a big one that I backed.
Yeah.
And that took like 5 years to come out.
Right, but that was an indie developer.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, and I also backed this other one. I forget what it was called. It was like it was a battle royale game. I don't think it ever released.
Oh.
But I backed it like 3 years ago.
Did
So
you get your
like,
money back?
no,
Whoa.
Is it still in
I think it's
process?
still. They had like an
In
early
development?
access thing like 6 months ago. I don't know if it's coming out.
Because I mean, like, if you say that you helped fund Shovel Knight and it took 5 years, and then it did come out, and then this other one you fund and it's only been 3 years, then you still
You
have
got
like
2
2 years.
I know, but
years
it's just
left.
like I don't want to. Like I stopped backing things for that reason, because it
just takes
takes
stinking long.
so long, and it may never come out, and you're kind of out.
Yeah.
You're out of luck. So if you have this,
I think if they scrap a project, aren't there like terms and conditions within the crowdfunding that they have to return the money?
Yeah, I mean,
think so, yeah.
but if they're still in development, then you can't say, oh, you're not in development anymore.
Yeah, and if they file bankruptcy because they just spent the money and they couldn't deliver, then
Yeah.
I mean,
Good luck
I mean,
taking your money out of
It's a
$0.
risk. It's like an
Yeah.
investment. It's a risk.
I backed. It wasn't. This isn't gaming related, but like I backed. It was like some like smart like credit card thing, and they kept like changing the company. They're like, oh, we're like transferring the project to this company. It's gonna be called something else now. And they're like, oh, like okay, and that like kept happening, and then like the project eventually died, and I like, never got my money back.
Oh,
oh,
weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of high profile Kickstarters, like Mega Man 11. That was another big one. No, not Mega Man 11. Mighty Number 9.
Oh.
Mighty Number 9.
Right, but like that wasn't Capcom.
Yeah, but he still raised like $3 million, and he made a crap project.
I think that's different though. Like if it was
But
Capcom trying to be like, let's make Mega Man 11, or it's like the dude who invented the Mega Man games being like, I want to make another Mega Man game, but I don't really have the rights. And I don't have any money. Can I have some money, please? Like that's different.
And how much money do they need to port something?
I don't know how hard is it to drag and drop something.
I don't know. Copy and paste.
I don't
I don't
think
think
it's as easy as just copy and paste, but
yeah, and it's not as simple as making compatible the port and then it's just you're done. You also have to consider distribution, and for that system specifically, and it's an entirely different ecosystem that you're going into.
You
as
gotta
well.
press cartures. You gotta press discs.
I'm watching
Right,
it.
It's like a whole
exactly.
thing.
I'm watching it
cartridges
every
cost a lot more than just like when they make the discs.
I know,
Yeah.
That's why PlayStation started doing discs about 1 million years ago.
Well, and that's why a lot of like the indie games are just digital only because the cartridges cost so much.
I'm watching it, and then like every 3 seconds, it gets
Oh yeah, what
another.
do we have now?
There's 866,000, and there's about 13,000 backers.
So it's gone up about $10,000 since we started talking about this story.
Yeah.
Cool. Final thoughts on this game that's gonna hit $1 million from a publisher or a developer that is a multi-million-dollar company.
I think they're gonna use this as a. All right, now let's get Nier ported to the Switch. Let's get all these other things ported, and we don't have to spend any money.
I forgot Nier was platinum.
Yeah,
it's a good game.
They have so many IPs that they could just use this platform where they don't have to worry about, funding from investors. It's all crowdfunding.
We'll be back to talk to you guys about how slimy that is when they decide to do that for Nier, inevitably. All right, guys, we're going to take a very short commercial break from the editor.
Charmander! Make sure to check out the podcast.
I can't do that. Sorry, guys. I was going to do this whole thing with Charmander for the audio podcast advertisement, and I just can't. It's going to kill my voice. And we've just been editing. Me and Dan, we're editing this podcast together because you guys can tell it's totally revamped. It looks totally different. If you're watching the video podcast, it looks totally different. We have a new logo that all four of us are working on. There's a new layout. There's a new background. If you guys check out the background, there's a ton of Easter eggs in there. If you see your favorite character, let us know down in the comments down below. Okay. Google, Spotify, iTunes. That's where you can get the audio podcast. And you can interact with us daily on Twitter and Instagram at TheGamePackYT. And join the Discord. The links to everything are in the description down below. I don't know. Here, let's grab Charizard here.
Charizard says to do all the things that Phil Phantastic says. Charizard.
I'm trying my best here, guys. Come on. Just help us out. All right. Now back to the show. And we're back. Okay, our next story comes from Blizzard. We've been talking about Blizzard a lot because Blizzard is just making mistakes. Warcraft III Reforged launched last week. We actually announced that it was coming out on the 28th, I believe. It came out. And people couldn't even log in. It was in development for years. It's riddled with login issues, bugs, graphical glitches, and worst of all, it overwrites the original Warcraft 3 launcher. So if you have Warcraft 3 on your computer, this game overwrites that if you update, and you can never play the original game if you're connected to the internet ever again. You have to play this version of the game. This game has the worst user score on Metacritic in history. It has a 0.5 user score. So we've been talking about review bombs in the past, so this is another case of review bombing because I don't know.
Well, is it actually bad, though? Like, if it's actually bad, I wouldn't consider that a review bomb. That's just...
Well, if it's actually bad and buggy, like, is it really a 0? Or is it like a 3? Like, people don't understand between like, oh, I like this game, it's a 10! Ah! Or like, oh, I hate this game, it's a 0! Ah!
Yeah, user
it's
scores
not just
are...
like...
it's 0 or 10. There's no in between.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not true or false, like yes or no. It's like, just think about it for a second. It's not a 0.5. I can't be.
It's also important to note that a game can be bad and people can put on bad reviews, and then review bombing is an entirely separate thing. A game can be bad and not review bombed, and it can be bad and review bombed.
Doesn't review bomb mean that's like one person submitting multiple reviews?
Yes. Yeah. So if people legitimately think it's bad and they go on and they all share their opinions, that's not necessarily review bombing.
That's true. And I've gone and looked and I've seen people literally listing all the reasons that it's bad on Metacritic. Like, it's not someone just going, bad, 0, bad, 0.
Right.
People are reviewing it on Metacritic and giving it this very, very low score.
Yeah, if it's a broken game and unplayable, then yeah, I think...
And if it overwrites the game that you were able to play before and can no longer, and you lose everything,
Yes.
that's also a huge problem.
That's yeah. So let's just jump right into that, Dan. It's a good segue. Should a company ever overwrite a previous version of a game that you have installed during a remaster, or should they preserve the legacy of the game and create like an entirely different install file so you can always play it as it was? What do you?
I have a prime example for this.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania. When it came out, I was so excited. And then I played it and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after several months they released
Plus?
Sonic Mania Plus.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wow, cool. A new mode that you can play." And it's what was it called? It wasn't Mania mode, it was Encore mode. Encore mode. They added it as a new mode. It remixes everything and changes things up. And you go in, you can play Mania mode or Encore mode. The problem that I have is that they tweaked a couple of the bosses and a couple of the special stages universally throughout everything.
Okay.
So,
But that sounds
Encore
sounds
mode.
like a patch, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
It
like
doesn't seem like a
they-
completely different experience.
the point is you get the remixed version of the bosses in the standard play now. Like a couple of the bosses, like one boss, the Mecha Sonic fight, no longer exists. And it overwrites. If you ever get the plus, even if you don't get the plus, like if you run an update, you lose that boss battle. And there's no way to revert on your system. It never existed in physical form. It was only digital. And if you update the game, even if you don't get the plus, it overwrites that original boss battle and completely changes it. There's no way to play that original boss battle.
Can
And
you
that sucks.
can you open your settings and hit delete update data?
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you can
You have to give it a shot.
on digital games.
I have
yeah.
an example for this too.
Yeah.
You can on physical. You can like completely wipe your Switch if you want to. For physical games, you can completely like factory reset your Switch. That's the only way to do it. And digital games, you can't because you just download it and it's the updated version you re-download.
You might be able
So.
to. I don't know.
If you can find a way, I'd be interested.
John, what's your story?
So it relates directly to Blizzard, and they just released World of Warcraft Classic.
Yep.
So clearly, they should know that people want to play like the old versions of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to play World of Warcraft Classic. You can play regular Warcraft, and then you can play Classic if you want.
To clarify, there's a button in the game to toggle between Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 Reforged. The problem is that when you toggle back to the regular Warcraft, it's not the original thing. It's like this broken, updated version. Like there's all the graphical glitches are in it. Like it's complete. They totally broke it. So
Well, that sounds like
they should have just
they're like
made
optimizing.
a separate thing. They should have just made a separate thing called Warcraft 3 Reforged. And if you want to play the remaster, you play the remaster. If you want to play the original game, you can play the original game.
Yeah,
Like-
I always thought of remasters and remakes as like it's the same game, but it's like a new edition of the game. It's not
Yeah.
the old game.
It's like they literally, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea to like bake it into like a 20-year-old, it's not 20 years old, I think it's 18 years old. An 18-year-old game, just bake this new stuff on top and be like, yo, this is totally gonna work and not break at all.
But I mean, a lot of PC games do this, though, right? Like when they have a huge update, like Diablo 3, right? The vanilla Diablo 3 when it launched was completely different than what it is now.
Yeah,
And
you could buy things with you could buy items with real money.
Yeah,
in that
and you
original
can't.
Diablo.
I'm pretty sure you can't play that original version anymore.
No, definitely not.
But that's like, I feel like that's more of like an update or patch.
Yeah. This is taking an old property and, destroying it. like just smearing frosting on a disc and then putting it in your machine. That's what it feels like to me. Like, look, we made it better. Break. And then I guess we can move on to my other question, which was, why do you guys think Blizzard released the game half-baked? And, like, obviously, is it money? Especially after all the bad press they've been getting. Do you think that they actually care about the products that are coming out? Or do you think they're just, like, they were like, okay, it's been forever. Let's just shovel this junk out. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll patch it.
It has to be for money. Like, I don't see any other way. Like, how does somebody testing this game
let it through?
Let it through. Like, I don't. Yeah, it's money. You said that how long has it been?
Dude, years and years and years. Like, they announced this so long ago.
I remember it was like a big thing at BlizzCon this past year. How they're like, Warcraft III Reforged is actually coming out.
When did it actually release?
On the 28th. Or when? Or you mean back in the day, 2002?
No, on the January 28th.
Yeah, like a couple days ago,
So
5 days ago.
Not even a week.
So, like, it wasn't like they were trying to hit, like, a holiday release date either.
No. So
They
just a random time.
Maybe
Yeah.
February's a peak time for Warcraft. You don't know.
Or maybe, like, I don't know, like, maybe their Warcraft subscriptions are down in, like, January or something, and they, for the first quarter sales, they, like, needed a product.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, got to hit those Groundhog Day numbers.
Because, you know what, and I was saying, I can't remember if I was saying this on the podcast or off the podcast, Blizzard doesn't care about its customers. They care about their shareholders. So, like, they're trying to hit quarterly financials by pushing a half-baked game out. They're not pushing out Warcraft III Reforged because they want to make the fan base happy. Like,
well, I mean, I guess it's a mask. It's like Warcraft 3. I guess they wanted it. Everybody wanted remastered.
Yeah.
So they would have given them good faith and a good standing with their community, and they just botched it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize that putting out a crappy product that's just going to have to be refunded is overall going to hurt them with their shareholders.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing stuff from 2017, at least, is when they were talking about it.
3 years.
Yeah.
Which, when you're talking Final Fantasy, that's like nothing.
At BlizzCon 2018, on November 2nd, 2018, Blizzard Entertainment announced officially Warcraft III Reforged. Okay, so they announced it in
So it's like
November
a little over 2
2018,
years ago.
but I feel like it's been rumored for longer than that. All right, well, gosh, Blizzard, what are you doing? I used to love playing, like, Warcraft 3, like the original, and was it Frozen Throne, or was it called a different thing? They had a really cool expansion where, like, Arthas turns into, like, the evil, like, Death Knight Overlord. Like, it was just amazing, really good real-time strategy game. And I was excited for this to come out, and there is no way, I don't care what you do, I'm not giving you a penny, Blizzard. I'm not giving you a penny for this piece of garbage.
How much is it, do you know?
I think it's $40.
Research Division, activate.
Research Division, activate. Tick, 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 tick. Is Warcraft III Reforged free? That's what came up. Bro, why doesn't this just show up?
They probably
There's literally
it.
Warcraft III Reforged mouse mat for $29.99 on the Blizzard
My
store.
God.
That's what showed up in my first search. Oh, but something they're saying while I'm looking this up, they have now automated the system for refunds for this game. So you could basically just be like, give me a refund, and Blizzard will just give you a refund for it.
Oh man.
It's just, I can't
That's not
believe it.
good.
I wonder.
That's not good.
Standard is 30, and then they have a special edition where you get like in-game items for Hearthstone and stuff like that. Or like, what is that other game? Heroes of the Storm. Their MOBA.
Yeah. Smite.
Yeah.
They don't have Smite.
No, it's Heroes of the Storm. But yeah, so that one is 40.
Oh my God.
The standard is 30.
I wonder how many people are actually happy with the product.
I don't.
And they're like,
know.
no, I don't want a refund. I got what I wanted.
I'm sure there's some.
Yeah, that's because like not everybody like their game doesn't crash on every single thing. That's not the story. The story is just that like it's very very widespread.
What's the critic score on it? Do they have one? Or is it just users?
Research squad activate.
Probably.
Metacritic.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Metacritic. Warcraft. Guys, you get to see how the sausage is made. Reviews. It's a good thing I have good internet. 61%.
That's not that bad.
I don't know if you would try to come home with that on your report card, but that looks pretty bad to me.
Yeah.
That's like an okay.
61 is a D. That's like
barely. You're talking about a grade.
That's a D minus.
But like you're talking about like on a video game scale, I think 6 is like an okay.
Yeah.
Not to me.
Okay.
61. That's border. That's a F. You failed. Get out of here. You failed. Let's see. What do we got on time? We should move on. Definitely move on. Final thoughts on Warcraft 3? Everybody buying it?
No, I've never played it.
Nope.
It's so good. The original is so much fun. It's so good, and the story is so cool.
Well,
and
too bad
they
you can't
ruined
play it anymore.
Yeah, too bad you can't play it anymore.
Yeah, you can't play it anymore. They ruined it. Gosh, Blizzard, you're the worst company in the world right now. Okay, cool. Moving on. Segue for people just being mad at companies. So Pokemon Home details were released last week, I think, or maybe a little bit.
It was last week.
It
was last week. Okay. So we finally got details of Pokemon Home, and I'm just going to throw it over to Cooltrainer Camilo because he has all of this memorized, and it'd be better than me reading the script. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Pokemon Go Home?
Home.
Home, please.
Okay,
We're good on Go News.
They announced the details for Pokemon Home. They put up their website saying it all. Basically, if you don't know, Pokemon Home is the new storage system for Nintendo Switch Pokemon games. Previously, we had Pokemon Bank on the 3DS.
Mm-hmm. So what does the storage system do?
Storage system is just a utility that you use to store your Pokemon in the cloud, so you get more storage, and it's just in the cloud. What this is going to be offering is you get a national dex, because Sword and Shield doesn't have a national dex. You get the GTS, which was a feature in the old games where you could put a Pokemon on the internet and ask, I want this Pokemon in return, and then someone would trade it with you, so that's back. There's this new feature called Wonder Boxes, which is just like Wonder Trading, but with this, you can actually Wonder Trade more at a time.
What's a Wonder Trade?
A Wonder Trade is where you throw up a Pokemon, and you get a random Pokemon in return.
Oh, okay.
Usually a hack shiny.
I'm just asking random questions that I definitely know the answer to, but some person might not.
And then you can also trade within this app. But you can actually only there are two versions of Pokemon Home. There's a mobile version, and then there's a version for the Switch. You can only trade in the mobile version.
Wait, what?
His audio is cutting out.
No. I was reacting to. You can only trade in the mobile version?
Yeah. I mean, people were complaining, but like, you're on your Switch. Why can't you just trade in the main game?
Because what if you want to trade somebody that only has a phone?
But you wouldn't be able to trade. You wouldn't be able to trade from phone to Switch anyway.
But I feel like it's the same app. You should be able to do that.
I actually think that trading on your phone is dope.
That is really cool. That is awesome.
I think that that's super easy. Like, it's all on the cloud. It's all synced up. It's across all my devices. And I'm like, oh, dude, you know what? I need that Pokemon. Like, I'm waiting for the bus, but I need a Pokemon. I forgot. And then I just throw up my phone because my Switch doesn't have 4G LTE or whatever. So I pop up my phone. I get my Giratina or whatever. I don't know. Giratina's coming back as a DLC, right?
Yeah, the
So,
DLC.
yeah, so like I get my like awesome Pokemon that I trade for my Magikarp via Wonder Trade or GTS or whatever. I think that's cool. I think that having it on your phone is like really awesome.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
having just like it's making like the Pokemon world is bringing it like they brought it to the real world in Go, and now they're making like the home console / portable games like kind of feel more like it's a real Pokemon that you have in your pocket that you can trade. Like that seems so cool to me.
I mean, I like trading Go on my phone. That's pretty cool. And then also there are 2 models. There's a free version and there's a paid version.
Mm-hmm.
If you
This is causing
this is what's causing the controversy. If you have the free version, you can't move Pokemon from Pokemon Bank into home. You have to pay for that. You can only store 30 Pokemon, which is basically
it's just
nothing.
an extra box.
Yeah. You can do Wonder Box 3 at a time. That's not a big deal. Before you can only do 1. GTS, same. You can only do 1 at a time. That's normal.
Which
you
is
can only
what
do
it
that
used to be.
before. Yeah. Room Trade, I think it's kind of dumb. I don't think anyone's really going to use it because it's basically Wonder Trade with people around you, which is just trade. And
I feel
then
like, kids will do that,
yeah,
or
Okay, but
college
if-
students who are all trying to play and like they all live in the same dorm.
Yeah, I don't carry my Switch everywhere with me, so I just use my phone.
yeah.
Yeah, better have the option than to not, I suppose.
And then the Judge function, which lets you see your Pokemon's IVs, you can only do that if you pay.
That's annoying.
Wait, what?
In home, you can only judge
That's
the
a
Pokemon's
You have
weird-
to pay for that?
Yeah.
That's a
That's
weird
so
thing to-
dumb. Because
that's
that's
a weird
in game. That's in game.
And then what you have to pay, or like the pricing is, if you want 1 month, it's $2.99. 3 months is $4.99, and 12 months is $15.99. So that is like a little over 3 times the amount that Bank was, because Bank was $5 a year. But I could see how it's
Bank
justified.
only had one feature.
Yeah, you could just store.
It was just the digital storage system.
And this,
Cloud
and then
saves.
also we're doubling from Pokemon Bank at 3,000 Pokemon storage when you pay. This is 6,000 storage.
I mean, I don't know if that like should correlate with tripling the price.
Who's gonna?
Oh
have
no, I was just
6,000
mentioning. I'm not
Pokemon?
saying it's
Yeah.
justified.
No, that's cool.
But-
All right,
Yeah,
fair
I
enough.
saw those dead babies.
All right, so let's talk about this. So having online services and cloud saves, etc., are something that a lot of games just have built into their games, and they offer them for free. So how do you guys feel about being charged a monthly or yearly fee? Should it just be included? Like, this seems like this is just something that should be a part of Pokemon, and you shouldn't have to pay outside for this like extra cloud service.
Yeah, I think considering that the Switch Online is $20,
Yeah,
16
yeah.
for a
That's
year seems really steep.
that's how I feel, because like you get so many more features with the Nintendo Switch Online. You have access to like, all the NES and SNES games.
But what if you're a person that just plays Pokemon? They could say that
I mean,
has
it's
more
still
value
it's
to
still.
them.
I just think because you need the Nintendo Switch Online.
No, you don't.
Plus this
For this, you don't.
I mean, you could make that argument. What if they only play Smash Ultimate? Smash Ultimate should have its own separate thing. What if they only play...
Yeah, but this is
Splatoon-
not
Splatoon
just
should
Sword
be
and
its own
Shield. This
separate
is going to
thing.
be going forward. This is the storage system
Smash-
for Let's Go, for Sword and Shield. If we get Diamond and Pearl remakes, this is like going to be continuing.
I feel like this should be included. Like, you know how they had the Nintendo Switch Online app? And
No,
Dan,
this should be its
Dan
own
brought-
app. It shouldn't be.
But
in
Dan
that
brought
app.
up Dan brought up Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers is in that app, and that's how you could share all your Mii characters. You could share your screenshots. You could share. I feel like they could have implemented that into that app.
Yeah, but the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, they're not like this exact same thing.
I just think it's high. I believe that it is justified to complain about the price of it. Like, could see
I think it's a
$10
little
a year.
high, but I think I do not think it should just be free. The people on Twitter saying it should just be free and part of the game, like it's a service. like you're paying for a service.
So I guess I'm confused then. Like, why do you, and when you play Call of Duty and you do online matches, like, why don't you have to pay EA a monthly service charge to like remember your loadouts and stuff like that? For your like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for like, for like playing online matches with people
Because
and,
they
like,
know people will
setting
pay.
up-
Yeah, I mean, you kind of harken back to our first story where they sold 16 million units. Like they're just seeing dollar signs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We could get another $16 a year out of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not charge something if some people will pay it, and then if people pay it, then the other people who don't want to pay it will have to as well, because there's already been a precedent that people will pay for it.
Yeah, but you could just pay $3 the first month, transfer all your stuff. You don't need this. It's just extra.
You also could not pay any money and only use the 30 spaces and just spend a very long time transferring everything.
Well, no, you can't transfer at all if you don't pay.
Oh, you
at
can't.
all.
Oh my god.
You can only
Oh,
transfer
so
from
point
Let's
of it.
Go. You can only transfer from Let's Go if you don't
So-
pay. You can't transfer from 3DS if you don't pay at all.
What?
So if you stop paying, like after a year you decide I don't want this anymore, do you like lose everything?
No.
There's like a
No.
X number of time, right, before it goes away.
It's
No.
usually like they just keep it and you can just withdraw. You just can't store more.
Yeah, because my bank, my bank lapsed, and I probably didn't pay for like at least 6 to 9 months, and I just had to renew it, and everything was still there. That's why it kind of baffles why it's not like free if they're holding it anyway.
My other question, aside from this, and should it be included, should it not be included? I guess I see both sides. I think that you should be able to transfer in a free, like the free version should just be pared down. You should be able to do almost everything, just not like at length, like it's like the crazy number of like however many Pokemon you can hold or whatever. My question is, how do you guys feel about the constant outrage from fans? I'm tired of it. I'm so over it. I'm so tired of people complaining about things that, like, complain about Warcraft 3 because that game's broken. That's fine. But, like, I'm just so tired of, like, there's, like, a new way for Pokemon to, like, extend its life with the DLC. Like, that's a new, interesting thing that they're trying. And, like, all we hear is, like, Cam was talking earlier about the vocal minority. We hear the vocal minority, like, screaming on Twitter or on Reddit or, like, whatever. And it's just like, I'm so over this outrage. It seems like everything they do is like met with such hostility, and it's just
because of what they started with. Like they angered. This could be free, and people would still be mad. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do anymore.
You think if it was free, people would be mad?
Yeah, they'd be like, well, I can't like have all my Pokemon in the game. Like, what's the point of a national dex or whatever in here?
I mean, I don't understand what the point of the national dex is on this if you can't bring them into.
Because they're
Sword
trying
and
to
Shield
like,
anyway.
because that's not like it's not going to be a thing anymore in the games. But they're like, they're saying like, okay, so this is your Pokemon collection, and this is where all your Pokemon are going to live, and they're going
But
to like
isn't
come
that what
in
they
and
were
out of the
saying
games.
about Bank years ago? That like this is like the new way. Like this is it. It's like Bank is going to be the place where your Pokemon are held, like in the cloud. And now they're scuttling Bank, and they're making a new thing.
Do
So,
you have
like,
to transfer from Bank to this, or can you do it
Yes.
straight from the 3DS games?
No, you'll be like on your Switch, and like you're gonna link to your account, and you'll be able to like see what's in your bank. I think, and just pull
But what if you don't have Bank?
They give you Bank for free for a month.
free
or
for a
something.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, but what if you like, I don't know. What if you want to play one of the 3DS games down the line,
Then you have
and
to
you
pay
want to
for both.
transfer?
Oh, they
That
gone.
sucks. That sucks.
It's a one-way trip, baby.
That's terrible. Like you should be able to transfer straight from the 3DS.
Wait, what do you mean you can?
No, I mean like if you don't have Bank, but you say you catch something in Oras,
Yeah.
but you don't have Bank.
Then
Why can't you transfer that into the Pokemon Home?
Because it needs to connect to something.
Pokemon Home. That's the thing it would connect to.
Well, Pokemon Home is not going to be an app for the 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean, they could. I just feel like you shouldn't have to pay for both. It's the same thing.
They're not. They're giving you a month free
for 1 month. But what if you play?
It's $5.
But so then you're at over $20 a year.
It's true. It's expensive. I understand the point that you're making, John. So like, you do your transfers, and then you're like, well, it's not like I'm not ever gonna play my 3DS games again. And then I finally got a shiny Kyogre in my ORS games, and then I have to I want to transfer that, but I can't unless I have bank. But I already used my free month, so here's my money, Nintendo. Costs $5 for one Pokemon.
I feel like
that's a scenario that will exist.
Yeah,
but I feel like if you're still playing the 3DS games, you like Pokemon, so I feel like you're gonna have bank anyway.
But that's not the point, though. The point is, why would you have to pay for both where the features are the same?
Because it's a
like
different
Pokemon
platform.
Bank is a storage
for 3DS.
It's just, I think it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing.
Because if they just said okay, this is also Pokemon Bank on the Switch, they would have to but they would have to make it more expensive. And then what about the people who just play the 3DS ones? They're just gonna have to pay more, even though they're not getting all the features on the Switch.
No, they get grandfathered into the $5.
I feel like they could put a Pokemon Bank feature on the Switch. And then that links
but Pokemon
into
Home is a lot
Pokemon
better than
Home.
Bank. Bank didn't really do anything.
Yeah, but it seems like you'll need both after that. Like if you want to transfer anything from 3DS to Switch.
Well, I don't.
Which doesn't make sense to me. I just don't think that.
I don't think we're gonna solve it here. I think it is what it is.
That's what they're charging. If you don't want to pay for it, don't get it.
Yeah. To go back,
that can't be an argument for everything though. Like they have to be held accountable for something.
I think it's a little pricey, but I think it's justified.
To go back a little, talk about the outrage from fans.
Yeah.
Like constant outrage from fans. Couple of things come up for me. On one hand, fans when they like get mad or get worked up about something, it can show that they're passionate about the project and that they want it to succeed and be what they want it to be because they're excited and passionate about it. On the other hand, when they get outraged at every little thing, it loses its meaning and it loses its effectiveness. And it's just going to be like the boy who cried wolf.
Right.
Oh, well, they're mad at anything. You can't please them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they won't ever get anything accomplished by being mad at everything. So yeah, outrage needs to stop unless there's major things to be actually outraged over. And I think Nintendo or Pokemon Company charging some money for services that they are rendering is not big enough to warrant the outrage as much as it has been getting.
But
even though it is kind of crummy, perhaps. It's not like World of Warcraft 3 or
Warcraft 3, yeah.
But just
Warcraft 3, yeah.
Just like think of it like the way the timeline was. Just real quick.
Yep.
So you have to pay $60 for a game that you believe doesn't have all the features that you want it. Then they come out with the DLC saying you have to pay $30, so you're at $90. And then they come out with another paid feature, so you're over $100.
Pokemon's expensive, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I've seen, you know the sports games? I've seen like gold and platinum editions of sports games go for like $200+.
That doesn't make it right either, though. Like I feel like
right, but they do, and in a year they'll be obsolete because the next year's sports title will be out.
A Pokemon game is like
people
never obsolete.
Are going to pay for it. They're gonna pay for it, and they're gonna keep doing it because people pay for it.
And I think paying that $16 and paying for Pokemon Home keeps it so that it isn't obsolete. It keeps it always current.
Yeah.
They should have offered it with the DLC. I don't know why they don't have like get 3 months
Ow.
free.
Yeah, that's.
Get
I
three-
mean, that could have. Speaking of games that aren't Pokemon, let's talk about the new games that we've been playing. So the new games that are coming out this week, February 2nd through February 8th, we've got on the 4th, we have Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. It's a tactics game, PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox. Zombie Army 4 Dead War on PC, PS4, Xbox One. Then moving on to February 6th, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus coming out on PS4. Then on February 7th, we have Crash Drive 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch, and Marooners coming to the Nintendo Switch. And those are your new games for February 2nd through February 8th.
Can I say that this year kind of sucks for releases so far?
This time of the year is kind of dead anyway. It's
Well,
just like
last
the
year there
holidays.
was like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil 2. I just feel like it's been very light.
I mean,
Only
I just got an
33
Epic Kingdom Hearts
days in.
DLC.
Trying to think. Yeah, the DLC came out. Something came out.
Didn't
That was cool. Stuff is out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't come to this conversation to talk about stuff that has already come out. I just have things written on a piece of paper.
Didn't Kakarot come out?
Oh yeah, Kakarot
Yeah.
came out, and then Fire Emblem Encore came out, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean they're not like I don't see them as big titles.
They're not John titles.
I bought Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Wow. Moving on.
When did Remind come out?
Yeah, we just said that.
The 28th.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to what we've been playing. Camilo, why don't you start
Or
us off?
23rd. I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. I'm still doing all the secret bosses. I'm on the last data battle boss, and then the secret bosses after that. They've been super, super tough, but I've been having a lot of fun.
Doesn't sound like a secret boss to me if you already know about it.
Well, YouTube thumbnails will wreck you.
Dang.
For Sophia Gaming.
Dan from the Tea Lounge, what have you been playing?
Prince of Persia series. I finished up the 2008 game and moved on to Forgotten Sands. They're two separate versions. Is really weird. The Wii version and the PS3 / Xbox 360. Two completely different games. They're called the same thing, and the Wii version is amazing. I loved that game so much. Played it first time, really good. And now working my way through the Xbox 360 version. It's also good, but totally different.
Interesting. John, what have you been playing?
I complained a lot about Pokemon today, but I'm playing Pokemon.
You're playing Pokemon? Which game are you playing?
I'm playing Shield.
Nice.
So I was shiny hunting during the Super Bowl. I did not get a shiny.
So, were you the life of the party?
I was by myself. Sad.
That's a fun Super Bowl.
I'm trying to learn how to build a competitive team. I got a couple Dreepies that I think I could make into a competitive, viable Pokemon.
I have a competitive Dragapult, and I like it a lot. I have been playing Octopath Traveler because I am on a huge JRPG kick. I feel like I've just been sleeping on them for a while. Like we were clowning around back at like I don't know how many podcasts ago about turn-based combat and stuff like that. But like I've missed it, and I really like. I think not Fire Emblem. Oh my gosh, it's sort of Fire Emblem. Tokyo Mirage Sessions has really was like, oh, like this is like kind of complicated, and you have to like think about this, and like your choices really matter. Like, and I was really enjoying the animated like anime cutscenes and the storytelling, and I was just like, wow, like this is like so deep, and like I'm really getting like dragged in, and I feel like that hadn't been happening in some of the games I've been playing recently. So like
You should try what's that game? Kingdom Hearts.
That's not turn-based.
Well, I was
Yeah,
gonna
but
try
it's
to-
a story you get dragged into.
Well, I was gonna play games that are aimed towards, like all ages or like adults, kind of, and not just small
Jesus.
babies.
Oh my god.
I thought you were 13.
Yikes.
Am I 13 now? I don't remember how I am. Oh yeah, I'm 13. I'm 13 this year. But dude, I'll play.
How far
I'll
did
try.
you get? How far are you in Octopath Traveler?
I have 7 of the 8 people, I think,
Okay.
and I don't know how many hours I'm into it, but I really, really enjoyed the girl hunter story.
Yeah.
That was
So
awesome.
I think that game is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like the combat system's a little tricky to
Mhm.
learn, and then I don't know. I need to get back into it. I think
once you get into it, you can really get into a rhythm of like knocking them down, like using the proper element or whatever, and then you get the break, and then you do use your characters to like work together to like get that combo break. It's like really satisfying gameplay.
Yeah, I think I did the first chapter for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Then I kind of fell off of it, but I might try to go back.
I think I'm getting the last one. Ophelia would be my last one, but obviously you can do it in any order, which is a really good thing about that game. And just it looks and sounds amazing. Anyways, I'm done gushing about Octopath Traveler, even though that game came out 3 years ago. All right,
Was it 3?
That was a long time ago. That's it.
Octopath? That was like 2 years ago.
It's over.
A year and a half.
This is our longest podcast of 2020. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and ring that notification bell. You can also check out the audio version of this podcast on Google Play, Spotify, and iTunes. Don't forget to join the Discord to keep in touch with us, and follow us on Twitter and our Instagram. We post every day. We do this thing called #Game of the Day, and we just like all 4 of us just kind of look around our collections, grab a random game, and we're like, this is gonna be cool. Let's share this, or like a cool memory about it, or just kind of just post a picture about it because it looks cool. I recently posted a picture of Shaq Fu because I picked that game up on Genesis for like $5. It's just a hilarious picture of Shaq doing kung fu. So yeah, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's awesome. And all these links can be found in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.